I gotta go out and make my way. I may get rich and I may get busted. You know, the first time I went to Amarillo, it was 1985. My buddy got kicked out of a couple of schools in Ohio for doing bad, so his grandma gave him the money to go to West Texas State in Canyon, Texas, outside of Amarillo. So since they hadn't heard of him, they let him in. And so I moved him out there. It was over Christmas break because I remember it was snowing. And we picked up his pickup truck and a U-Haul trailer, and we hauled him to Amarillo. And since he had a pocket full of money from his grandma, we decided once we moved him into his 2-bedroom apartment in Amarillo that we was going to Vegas, baby, in the Grand Canyon. So we took off in his pickup truck and went to Vegas, and he must have blown about $1,000 on the blackjack tables. And then we went to the Grand Canyon, and we drove. That was the first time I was ever at the Grand Canyon. It was 1985. And we drove all the way to the top up there, and it was, the fog had set in, so we could never see into the Grand Canyon. There was a youth hostel up there, and we arranged it to stay in the youth hostel, but back then we'd like to stay out till 3, 4 in the morning and all that, but they had a curfew at like 10 o'clock. And you had to get up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and clean the place. So we stayed a night there and left. And we went back and kind of made our way through Amarillo. It was a crazy little trip. And then I got on a bus. I took a Greyhound all the way back to Ohio. And I think it was 36 hours on a bus, something like that. And I swore I would never, ever take another Greyhound the rest of my life. And I don't think I have. Yeah, I went to see a buddy in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got a one-way ticket down there. I flew down there to see him. And I was supposed to take a Greyhound back. And so I contacted a rental car company, and they had a one-way deal I could take to Akron for about as much as the bus ticket. So I rented the car and drove it back to Akron, and then took a local bus back into Kent. But I swore I'd never take another Greyhound across country again. Boy, the dregs of humanity and yuck. Anyway, that's what's all flashing through my mind about Amarillo. And we did go to this Big Texan Steak Ranch. There's also a place called the Cadillac Ranch, where they've got all these Cadillacs buried head first into the ground. We went there. We had a lot of fun. But I've been to Amarillo probably, 20 times since then. I used to come up here on my motorcycle on the way through to Colorado, and I'd always stay in Amarillo there. So it was a long time ago, remembering that little cross-country trip we had. Those were good times. We stayed downtown Las Vegas before it was covered back then. In 85, I remember we stayed at the Fitzgerald's. So, interesting. Time flies. Can't find anything good on the radio. You'd think there'd be a lot more country music. Seems like the same disc jockey. You know what happens when you play a country music album backwards? You get your girlfriend, your dog, and your job back. We're clear.